Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Maya. How are you? We are
Hi,
live.
everyone. Hello.
Hello. Okay, so my name is Angeline Constantino, and I am the founder and CEO of and the podcaster of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. So, our podcast focuses on helping women find their voice and regain their power after some sort of traumatic event, domestic abuse, trauma, etc. So, before we get started, here's what I would like to do. So welcome to the broadcast. Welcome to my podcast, Let's Break the Silence. You can find new episodes which are available at letsbreakthesilence.com. And please like and subscribe to my podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, Apple, and all the other live streams. So without further ado, my good friend here, Maya McNulty, is here from Schenectady, New York. And you know what? I was just going to say, Maya, I just admire you for your courage, for overcoming COVID. As a lot of you know, 2 years ago, we were in a pandemic and the whole world shut down. And I recall, Maya and I know each other for a long time through networking events. She's the speaker. She's a best-selling author. And I know Maya, Maya was always on the road. She was always going someplace, traveling. And then all of a sudden, it was quiet. And I'm like, what is going on here? And one of my closest friends, actually we're mutual friends, posted something on her Facebook page that I have a friend who was fighting for her life. Please pray for the special friend who is fighting for her life. So I said, oh no, I hope it's not who I think it is. And all of a sudden Maya was disappeared. And the next thing you know, I found out that she was in the hospital, just fighting for her life. So Maya, what I would like, I'm just so excited that you are a special guest on my podcast. And it's time to break the silence on COVID. And I know this was not an easy journey for you. So tell us what happened.
Angela, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to your listeners and your viewers. Thank you to our home circle of friends here in the Capital Region, New York. It's because of you that I have the strength to pull through. Many times we think that we're alone, but we're not alone. We really are not. And podcasts like yours get to share people's stories and bring out the voice, the face that's behind the trauma, the healing, the recovery. It's a tough thing. 2 years ago, when I found out that I had COVID, obviously nobody knew what COVID was in 2020, mask mandates, vaccine mandates, none of that was in place. We mostly were going on with our daily lives. In fact, it was restaurant week. And it was just right after Valentine's Day. My husband and I were going out for dinner. And I was traveling. And I had just gone to Boston to see a friend of mine who was at Dana-Farber.
Oh.
And she was battling cancer. And the week after that, March 13th, that week, I was at the gym. And there was an outbreak at our gym. 2 people, they lived very close, but they had tested positive for COVID. Now, again, none of us knew what COVID was and the capability or the magnitude of what this disease is capable of. I can tell you that it is not a flu. It is not cold. It is not in your head. And if you do not feel right? Go to your doctor, go to the ER, go to an emergent care, go to a urgent care. There is help out there now that you can go to. We also have our support network group, COVID Wellness Clinic, that I created, which we'll dive into more as we talk in this podcast. So thank you so much. And yeah, let's break the silence. And so people don't know that they're not alone.
Exactly. Let's break the silence. And today, I have a question to ask you because I feel that COVID is still out there. It's rampant. But there are other people who say, oh, it's no big deal. Or it's like a big stigma. There's like a stigma out there. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, you know, it's still out there. It's in Europe. It's still in the US. But people make fun of it now. It's like all of a sudden now, since the world opened up, I don't know. I don't know how to describe. Maybe you could shed some light on that.
Sure. That's a great question. Thank you for bringing it forward. So, like any disease like polio, the swine flu, the Spanish flu, as time goes on, we do crave normalcy and we do want to get back to our daily lives. We do want to work again. I mean, many of us, you look at Main Street, it's ghost town. Many of us, we've lost clients, and now we're struggling with gas prices and food on our table. While our kids, like myself, I have a child in college, and I haven't really worked in 2 years. I am now a COVID long hauler. A COVID long hauler is a person that has over 3 months developed the long COVID symptoms such as brain fog, mental fatigue, cognitive dysfunction, neuropathy, shortness of breath, lung and heart palpitations and lung, the ability to hold oxygen, chronic cough. In fact, I have a cough drop in my mouth right now, so I don't cough through the whole segment here. I wanted to be kind to everyone's ears because it is annoying. As it is annoying for me, it's probably going to be annoying for you. So
no, not at all. Not at all. We're all human. I mean, it's also springtime, so it's allergy season.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting that people say when you mention spring that with allergies and stuff, but as the viruses mutate, the original COVID virus, the SARS-CoV-2, is what I had gotten. And it has trickled down the Delta, the Omicron, the Deltacron, the BA2. It's going to continue to mutate. And the severity attacks everyone differently. Now, you can be asymptomatic and develop long COVID. And if people believe that they're invincible and they won't get COVID, eventually they will. You can just read it in the newspaper now. You can see it on TV. You can go through the Facebook feeds. And those people that were naysayers have indeed now gotten COVID from somewhere or from someone, or someone in their family has gotten COVID, infected or impacted. The thing is long COVID is more terrible to live with than just having COVID. COVID is something that can live, just like cancer can live dormant in the body. There's no science, and I'm not a scientist. I'm a marketer and an author. However, I do have a PhD in Maya now after 24 months of survival of COVID, long COVID. Most of you don't really truly know me or know my story, but I was in a coma. This is my ventilator scar. I was trached and ventilated for 6 weeks and hospitalized for 69 days. I had to learn to eat, walk, and talk all over again.
Wow.
I had to learn to read, write, because I lost all my memory. I lost all my hair. My hair has grown back lovely. I'm excited about that. I lost my voice for 10 months. I lost my memory for a good month and a half, which I'm still struggling with some of the things. Some of the things that I love to do, like write. I couldn't spell certain words, simple words like the, T-H-E, East, E-A-S-T. I bring that up because when I wanted to write a thank you note to the 3 East wing of doctors and nurses and send some pizza to say thank you, I didn't really have the ability to write. It mostly looked like chicken scratch because the tremors and vibrations in my hand, I'm left-handed, it was very, very hard for me to hold a simple pen or pencil like it would be for you.
Right.
We take these things for granted. So I don't wish COVID on anyone. It is not my place to say whether you believe or not. What I will do is pray for you and pray that you never, ever find long COVID.
Yeah. Because I mean, you look great,
Thank
and
you.
you look great. But during that period, we were all praying for you. It was like I felt like the whole nation came out, and the state of New York. We all prayed for you because you were in a coma. And I mean, did you
Thank
feel it?
you.
I mean, what happened that night? I know that your husband carried you down the stairs. I mean, do you remember anything about that whole
Yeah.
thing?
So I'll bring you back to March 14th, which is a
Okay.
Saturday. I woke up March 14th with a fever, coughing, body chills, diarrhea, um, and I had no idea that I started to die from my feet up on that day. Now I'm a pretty strong woman. I couldn't handle it anymore. My fever was like 102, 103. I got in my car and I live very close to the hospital. So I just literally it's down a hill really. And I kind of idled into the parking lot and I got there and I sat in a wheelchair when I got there on the 14th.
Mm.
And they brought me into the emergency room and they gave me 2 bags of IV, azithromycin, and some other things. I can't quite remember, but those were some. And the reason I know that is because I've read the paperwork from that day. It was on my desk. And they sent me home. I asked them to test me for the coronavirus, and they didn't really want to at the time because, as we know, tests were very limited. So they tested me for pneumonia and bronchitis, and I tested negative for the pneumonia.
Okay.
So I started to dehydrate, and my oxygen was low.
Mm.
And that's another sign. That's why it's important to get a pulse oximeter. A pulse oximeter will show you the amount of oxygen coming through your body, through your finger, and your pulse rate. Now, every hospital is different. Here, Ellis Hospital code, if it's below 92, a perfect lung rate would be 100, 95 to 100. That's because that means you're getting full oxygen. Sorry, I have to take a little bit of breath.
That's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
In 2 years, my lung capacity, my lung volume is at 73%.
Wow.
So it takes me a little while to
Okay.
get through conversations, but I think I'm doing really well. So they gave me oxygen, they gave me IV, they gave me pills, and then I came home. Well, I called my husband because he went to work, and I said to him, I'm in the emergency room, and of course he came down right away. And I said, they're not letting anybody in the hospital, so they're calling prescriptions in for me. Please go get those at CVS, and then just meet me at home. So he did, and from that Saturday, they told me that to go home and quarantine for 14 days. And Angeli, this is the funny part about COVID in the very beginning. My husband had to quarantine as well because they said if someone in the household gets COVID, he has to quarantine. This is all new. And by Wednesday, I started to literally, I mean, I couldn't move very well anymore. I was literally started to die from my feet up since Saturday. But luckily, I went to the hospital because I think that IV and the azithromycin just gave me a little edge of protection. And I couldn't by Wednesday walk anymore. I lost an appetite, lost my taste and smell. I couldn't stand to take a shower or go to the bathroom. It was terrible, terrible. And by Saturday, I was literally, from Wednesday to Saturday, I was definitely blue. My husband even said, you're blue, you're like a vegetable. And he was sleeping on the couch. And my husband's a construction worker, so he had always had gloves and masks. The world didn't have to wear them, but on construction sites we did. So we were kind of prepared, but not knowing the efficacy of masks, which that's something that people decided to argue as well. However, we know that N95s work, and we use them on construction sites because of all the fibers and the dust and things like that to get away from your lungs, just like you would wear goggles, right? Eye shield to protect so you don't get scraps in your eyes from dust or tile or wood. So the safety goggles. So I would say that the mask is just another tool in the toolbox for you to protect yourself, not necessarily having to be on a construction site, but the world is rebuilding. So yeah, my husband carried me down the steps on his back. Well, he gave me two choices. The choices were, I will carry you down my back, or I'm going to call 911. And I thought, I don't have anything serious. I already went to the hospital. They gave me IV. They gave me azithromycin. I have my pills. They gave me something. I have a whole bunch of pills that I didn't even remember that they gave me. And none of it worked, really. I mean, maybe it prolonged or helped in a certain way. I'm not sure. It's neither here or there because it's been some time. But yeah, we got to the hospital and immediately they wheeled me in, put me on oxygen, and that's the 21st. And I was really super mad. I was angry because here I was, a healthy female, never any pre-existing conditions, active. I just launched my second book. I was excited to travel. I'm a paid speaking author globally. I was so hurt. I just couldn't remember anything from the day I got to the hospital until the day I came out on May 28th of 2020. I didn't get to see my friends. I didn't get to see my family. I was in a coma. I was in a coma for 30 days. I think the coma saved my life. And in that time, my husband, he had to quarantine. And of course, I was in a coma, so I didn't know this. And so he fills me in. He got a certificate for staying home for 14 days from the Department of Health for quarantining. So I think that's pretty hilarious because, now, which is not hilarious at all, we're embarking on April 27th, nearly 1 million lives lost to COVID. And people argue that number as well. But how about the numbers we don't even know where people have died in their homes alone, in their apartments alone, or in tribal areas, or while serving your country in the army?
Exactly.
Or the U.S. government, Air Force, National Guards, as a soldier.
You're a very courageous woman.
So I am blessed. I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones. I did die. I did go to heaven. Thank you. Thank you. I feel that too, because when I was in heaven, I think God said to me, yeah, we're not ready for you. I can describe heaven to you. I can tell you what it's like. It's beautiful. It's peaceful. There are dogs and cats up there. So if you've had a pet, there is a rainbow bridge in heaven. It is there. It's green and lush, filled with fields of flowers like wildflowers. The clouds are like cotton candy. There's a gate. You do wait on two sides of it. The first side is with line where you're going to be admitted by gatekeepers, and the second side is where you're free again. You're born forever young. It's quite interesting because when I was in heaven, my husband's brother, Bobby, whom I've never met, I've been married for 28 years. Bobby died when he was 2. And I told my my mother-in-law about him receiving me in heaven. Of course, things people think that's just, exciting, but yet weird, because how would you know? He is a twin of my husband. He spitting image. I would have recognized him in a crowd anywhere. You know how people say, I won't even recognize you at the market? Well, I recognized him, and I recognized him in heaven. And he wasn't a baby anymore. He died at 2. And my husband's 56, and Bobby would have been 58 or 50 at the time. Well, he would have been 52 because Ron would, oh, wait, he's 56, so he was 54 at the time. So Bobby would have been 56. So I said to my mother-in-law, he was in his 30s. I said, Bobby's not a baby anymore. He's in his 30s. And she says, oh, well, they're Catholic. I'm Hindu, Indian. And and she said, oh, tell me about it. Even though it's my mother-in-law probing me. Of course she'd want to know. It's her child. I would want to know. And I said, well, he never walked in front of me or behind me. He walked on the side of me. And his steps were not like a spirit, but like a gliding unison, like almost a dance. You went to the, as you're getting closer to heaven, to walk in together. And he never spoke. He, when I got up to the gate, all I heard it was, this is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Which I later found out was a verse in the Bible. And I've never read the Bible. I mean, I've opened it here or there, and I've known some of it because we've gone to church, but I never really read it. But yeah, I've later learned that is a verse in the Bible. But my mother-in-law said, oh, do you know why he was in his 30s? And I said, no, I don't. And I don't know why I said he was in his 30s when I should have said he was 56. So she said that how it's because Jesus Christ died in his 30s. Mm-hmm. Some argued that he died at 33. Some said he died at 39. Who knows? I wasn't there. So, but yeah, he was in his 30s, my husband's brother. And I met his aunt, and I saw women and children. I saw men. I saw pets. I saw alien-looking people floating. Yeah, it's quite remarkable, the things that you can recall. I had dreams of swimming oceans and oceans to get there.
Wow.
I can recall being in heaven.
Oh my God.
In line, as though you were trying out for Shark Tank, and you just, wake up at 5 a.m. and you're just exhausted by the time you get to the gate. Right. Like I was auditioning for heaven. And I'm grateful I didn't get in a way. Nice visit, but here on Earth, I guess there's another plan and purpose for me. And like most of your listeners, they're turning their pain into potential. And that's what the walking warrior movement is all about. When I was got out of the hospital, I had an in-home nurse, a therapist, a physical therapist, and occupational therapist. You're in my kitchen. I wasn't in my kitchen for 6 months because I couldn't walk from the living room to this kitchen, or even carry a dinner plate. I was so weak. That took me a good 6 months to be able to do certain things. I walked with a walker for 29 weeks, a wheelchair for 3 months, walker for 29 weeks, and a cane for 6 weeks. And sometimes I still have to pull the cane out. But it's interesting when someone looks at you and they're like, oh, you look great, or they have no idea what you've gone through. And sometimes it's my pride and my ego that I don't really want to walk with a cane, but sometimes I have to. I've had 2 strokes, one while I was in the coma and another on September of 2021. So just recently, less than 6 months ago. And my lung capacity went back down to the 60s. So I've made great strides since September 2021. We're now in April of 2022, and my lung functions, all 3 of my lungs had collapsed, and that's what caused me to die. Most people don't know that you have 3 lungs, but the main one is by your heart, where it's pumping the blood.
Right. And, okay. Right.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to share and to educate. My whole survival, I'm still an author. I'm still a mom. I'm still a wife. I'm still an entrepreneur. Those things and accolades have not been stripped from me. but I know I'm here for a purpose and for God's plan, for whatever humility I have to serve with as a long hauler, a COVID long hauler, battling long COVID, acute post COVID. This is the third time that I have had, I'm sorry, not third, more like 13th time that I've had this bronchial cough, been on prednisone like 11 times. And I think that how, with the inflammation, excuse me.
Drink some water again, actually. Good time to drink a little
So
water.
with the inflammation, huh?
Good time to drink a little water.
Yeah. Well, if you think, drink, right? So if you're thinking, drink. If you think, drink. It's a good little trick to remember, to remind yourself that how if you are dehydrated, your mind is telling you if you think, drink, because that means you're starting to get dehydrated.
Exactly.
That's another symptom or sign of long COVID, that the dehydration that happens, and then with the loss of taste and smell. Now I'm 24 months, 2 years post COVID, and it's hard. It's hard. Some days I don't sleep at all because of the insomnia. I wish long COVID on no one. And there is more science and research coming out to help COVID long haulers. However, it has become a huge topic because most people thought in the beginning it was a respiratory disease. Then they believed that it was a neurological disease and a cognitive dysfunction.
Right.
And now they're going with more of a vascular disease because it has affected your skin, your vascular system. But it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't, long COVID does not discriminate, whether it be children or elderly or young females like us, men, women. It does not discriminate. And that's one of the things, the misconceptions that happened back in March of 2020 that caused me to get national news attention. It was the time where no vaccine, there was no mask mandate.
Right.
And as a young female, it was a disease that was only affecting elderly. So that was one of the things that was a mistake, and that it would go away in the heat. Now, Dr. Fauci, the White House, the governor, Dr. Fauci called my room, and it was a case that the White House had expedited and had made national news because they had claimed that, well, not claimed, they had said that there is a young female in upstate New York, because New York City was the epicenter of COVID.
Right.
And people are forgetting that it happened here in New York, and that, yeah. So I was super angry. I was mad when I got COVID, and I didn't know what it was. I thought I had something as bad as AIDS. How would I love my husband again? Like, be intimate and kiss my daughter who was in college, hug my mom and dad, because I really thought I had the scarlet letter. There was no science and research surrounding COVID. But the White House, they were able to try the drug remdesivir on me. The funny thing is, my husband didn't care what it cost or where they found it. Give it to my wife. I want my wife to come home. This is a time where national news was refrigerator trucks were housing bodies because there was just no place to put bodies anymore. Hospital morgue, in the funeral parlors, again, everything was shut down. You couldn't go into the hospital, see your visitor. So I was in the hospital for 69 days without my family. My mom even works in the hospital, and she couldn't come to see me. I was in intensive care ICU. And they basically looked like Martians to come in to take care of me. The things that healthcare workers go through is unfathomable. They are heroes. I have no idea. I was able to see a picture of myself after I came out of the coma, and I was a little alert. I'm still on the ventilator, but I thought, oh my goodness, how did they know what plugged into what?
Right.
It was just like figuring out an obstacle course, but it was all attached to my body. I just couldn't believe it. So I wanted to share some signs of long COVID PTSD. And some people, when they're breaking the silence, that perhaps this will also help them to understand their trauma of what they're going through. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I've learned this about myself, and I've learned this about other long COVID survivors and other long haulers. And I think it's very common and very close to cancer survivors, not autism, domestic violence survivors. I think that any type that you're a survivor, that you are a walking warrior and you can turn your pain into your potential.
Exactly.
I'm going to share with you some of the things, 7 signs that you know, that you can be aware of that could be triggering PTSD.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Is it okay if I share that?
Sure, you can share that. You know what I would like to do first?
So,
Let's read.
7
I just
signs,
would like
7 long haul signs
7
that might
signs.
be
Right.
triggering you're suffering from PTSD.
Go for it.
Number 1 is insomnia. Now, the post-traumatic stress disorder, we were very familiar with like veterans having post-traumatic stress disorder. But there was a time where I was having dreams and I was put into this like outer body experience. And I shared with my doctor, and I actually did. Sure. Go ahead.
You know what, Maya? We can't hear you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can't. We can't hear you.
Okay, so you're ready for me to share? Okay,
Yes.
great.
Go for it.
When I was in the coma, I wasn't cognitive, right?
Right.
I had no idea what was going on. So I said to my doctor, my primary care and my pulmonary doctor, I described the room to them and the equipment that was in the room, a room that I never saw because I was in a coma. So I know I had this experience. And here's some signs, 7 signs that you might but trigger your Okay, hold on. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes?
we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me know if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, so number 1 is insomnia.
Right.
Signs of insomnia. A lot of times people will say that they are anxiety driven, or that's what's causing them to not be able to sleep. But the insomnia. Number 2 is chronic crying. If you find yourself at chronic crying, that could be a sign that your PTSD is being triggered. If you start hallucinating, now you can. Okay, so I'll start over because I'm not sure if they heard number 1 and number 2. So number 1 is insomnia, when you cannot sleep at all, and you might be diagnosed with anxiety. Yes, I can hear you. Number 2 is chronic crying.
Right.
When you just are crying, and it's not necessarily from the pain, it's that you're just mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. You're crying because you're lacking sleep. You're crying because you're in pain. You're just crying constantly. Number 3 is hallucinations.
Right.
Hallucinations, you'll have those sensations of falling or flying, soaring in a way. And it's not the medication that's doing you suffering from PTSD. That happened to me when I was when I was swimming to get to heaven, and I was seeing bodies. I thought I was in hell because I saw bodies just laying around. I thought these people died in my hospital bed, in my hospital room, and so I was hallucinating. I mean, it could be the meds.
True.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, number 4, when we talk about medication reactions could be that you are dehydrated, that you have burning or itching. Your heightened emotions, that could be part of the chronic crying or sensitivity. It could also be with heightened emotions, anxiety. Number 6 is night sweats. When you're in bed and you're just rolling around and you have the night sweats. Number 7 is lack of self-care and self-love. That the compassion that you have for yourself, self-compassion, it's when you start lacking your self-compassion. So I became a patient-led researcher. Some of the places and schools and universities that I've helped is Brown University in Rhode Island, University College of London in London, England, are a few to name, and some other organizations. I've shared this information with them, and I'm sharing it with COVID Wellness Clinic, the group that I started for COVID survivors. It's a community of long haulers and survivors of COVID, because everyone is literally technically a survivor of COVID. You've lived through the pandemic, so you become a survivor of COVID. So those are the 7 signs that it might be triggering your PTSD. But here's the kicker. When you're healing from COVID or your trauma, 3 signs that you're healing from your trauma is that you have decided, you made a mind shift to want and desire more.
Exactly. I'm glad
you've kind of gotten out of your rut and you want to desire more. You start to have clear goals. Number 2 is having clear goals. And that you start to write about them again. And you're writing these down, these goals. And number 3 is that you've deleted toxic relationships and you've moved away from the toxicity and giving yourself a chance to live your true potential. You know, it's so important that we realize when we have trauma and when we are healing from our trauma. And I think that's what your podcast is all about.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I wanted to share those 3 signs that you're healing from your trauma, because it's just as important as recognizing what your trauma is. So again, to recap, you're shifting into wanting and desiring more. That's number 1. Number 2 is that you are clear on your goals and you're writing them down. You're making them a serious cognitive effort to improve. And number 3 is that you've deleted toxic relationships and friendships. And it's okay that you decided to do that. You gave yourself permission.
Exactly.
You became confident in your decision.
That's important, especially in the healing process.
So thank you for allowing me to share that with you. Those are some of the things that we discuss in our support call on COVID Wellness Clinic.
Great. And I want to talk about the COVID Wellness Clinic, because I know 24 months later.
Yeah. You have any questions?
Yes. Let's see if we have any questions here. Let's give a shout out.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Oh, you do. You do. 1 second. Okay. Hi, George. Actually, George is from Massachusetts, from the Boston area. This is Mindy Rosen. Good morning. And
are we good? You got any questions?
So sorry that you have
Can
to
you hear me?
experience all of this. I just want to read some of the comments. So for those of you who are watching the live or are catching the replay,
Yeah, I'm coming in and out with being able.
yeah, I think you're coming in and out. I don't know why.
You're right. It is. I'm hoping everyone can hear
Yes, we
me.
could hear you. I could hear you. So let us know in the comments, please, if you could hear us and hear Maya, because she's providing a lot of value here today. And, you know, on my podcast and sharing her journey
Hi, George.
of COVID. So, and also Jackie again from London. So for those of you who are watching the live, please let us know where you are tuning in from. If you are watching the replay, let us know by hashtagging replay. Share this live out with your friends. Share this live out in a community. Someone who is battling COVID or they're recovering from COVID and they need to hear this message. So Maya, I mean, I'm awestruck. I'm like all shook up. I took so many notes. It's like 3 pages of notes. I have a question to ask you. So, after 24 months of therapy, you started the COVID Wellness Clinic. So, please educate the viewers here and for some of the local people here. What is the COVID Wellness Clinic? How you started it? Well, yeah, because I know that your true passion is helping people. I know that, and you've gone through so much in your life. You've gone through so much in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You endured so much pain, but you turned that pain into your potential, and you're a walking warrior. So please share what the COVID Wellness Clinic is, how you started it, where it is, goals, the vision. You know what? We can't hear you, Maya, for some reason.
Thank you so much. It's such an important question.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll dive into that. Thank you so much. It's such an important question. Now, I started COVID Wellness Clinic as I was healing from my hospital bed right here adjacent to my kitchen. Oh, my love, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. Let me see if I can try full service. Oh, I have full volume there too. Can we try it here? Can you hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can.
Yeah, perfect. It's perfect.
Okay. So COVID Wellness Clinic, I started from my hospital bed here, just adjacent to my kitchen. And while I was in therapy, from my physical therapist, occupational therapist, and thank you. Yeah, I don't know why we're going in and out. You know, we've had rain here in upstate, and I don't know if there's any services lines that are out. It's always hard to stream too. I think sometimes the streaming, depending on where it's coming from, sometimes it goes in and out. But thank you so much for asking about COVID Wellness Clinic, the online recovery program, support and guidance recovery program. Every Friday night, we have a support call for our survivors and their families to ask questions. As we know, COVID affects everyone differently. So there's that. Second, we created an online course so that you can have COVID recovery and care, because there is no center of excellence for long COVID. And so COVID Wellness Clinic is a video series to help you recover safely in your home, like I did. These findings are based on some other people that are in the group. There are 1,400 other people in the group, and they surround the care of cognitive therapy, physical therapy, and pulmonary strength.
Wow. Okay.
Those are the 3 components that are crucial in your recovery. And we break it down for you in videos, in diagrams, in worksheets, in exercise, and in our support call. So we are changing the way that long COVID is treated in long COVID clinics in a hospital. Most people, once they recover from COVID, per se, the 14 to 21 days, but long COVID is different. you aren't going to recover the same as someone that is asymptomatic, someone that is young, or someone that's older, or somebody that's in the middle like me.
Mm.
We're all different. It affects our DNA differently. It's kind of like our DNA, right? Our fingerprint. Long COVID is that. It's quite unique to every person. So it's not a one size fits all. However, cognitive therapy, pulmonary therapy, and physical strength are the three key main components outside of like medicine or pulmonary tests that you have to take from your doctor. This does not replace your doctor, nor do we claim to heal or treat or diagnose you with long COVID symptoms. However, it is a resource and a resourceful tool for you to use in addition to what you are already doing. So if you live in a tribal area or you have a young kid or you can't get into a post-COVID clinic, this is a great place to start. Now, I created it because while I was healing, I saw this problem happening real time, and there was no resource for me out there. I went to the hospital, I came home, and I grew that. I went to in-home therapy, pulmonary, physical, and nurse. I graduated from that. I went 10 months of outpatient physical therapy, graduated from that. Lost my voice for 7 months, went to a voice pathologist, graduated from that. Went to my primary care doctor. They're still learning what long COVID is. I go to my pulmonary doctor and have my pulmonary function test to know the metrics of my healing. I've had 2 strokes post-COVID, and if I didn't have the tools that I had with my learnings and findings as I healed, I don't think I would have healed as strongly. A support network of people who, like entrepreneurs, right, we're wired differently. Well, people that have COVID are also different. They recover and heal differently.
I see. Okay.
And our program is helping science and research. And we're also 10 things. We're also helping our community. We're building a community of walking warriors so that they can turn their passion, their pain into purpose and potential. So turn your pain into your potential. Here are a few things that I would add that you can do to change your mindset and turn your pain into potential. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
Great. So number 1 is the challenge. Number 1 is the challenge. We have all been challenged with something, whether it be domestic violence, cancer, or COVID. You can choose. Number 2 is the choice. We've addressed the challenge, right?
Exactly.
Number 2 is the choices. We can be proactive in our choice to move forward, to heal, to say, this is not how my story will end. Change the chapter, right? You're the author. You get to write the ending.
That's right. That's right.
Number 3 is the consequences. If I don't tell my story, will it build a hole in me, or will it, how many lives could I save if I told my story so that they know that they're not alone? Don't bottle it up. Don't keep it inside of you. You know, the richest place is the graveyard. It's where the stories were never told, the dreams were never lived, the inventions were never made, the books were never written. It is the richest place. But why have that die inside of you? And number 4 is the change. For me, there was nothing that existed like COVID Wellness Clinic, and giving my past of being an author, speaker, coach, creating book funnels, writing books, doing programs online. I thought that how I could reach the masses by creating this program, COVID Wellness Clinic, to help COVID long haulers. So you can go to covidwellnessclinic.com to go. If you're ready to be challenged, if you want to have choices, change the outcome of your story, the consequences, and be the change. So if you're looking to do that, covidwellnessclinic.com, and I'd welcome you into the group and into the community. And we've started walking warriors. So you are a walking warrior. A walking warrior says that I take my pain and make it into my potential. I'm a walking warrior.
You are a walking warrior.
Thank you.
You are a walking
warrior. So that's what I have for you, Angelie. Yeah, I'm so happy and grateful for you for allowing me this space and platform to share with your audience, and hopefully some of it resonated with others today.
Yeah.
They too recognize when they're healing from their trauma, recognizing where it's at, and how to heal. Self-love, self-care is very important. Telling your story, reaching out to others so that you can be part of a tribe. I know that you have a great tribe of women and men that, because men get abused too, right?
They do.
And yeah. So it's important for you to be able to share this platform with others, to share their stories, and know that they're being heard. So thank you for the work you're doing.
You're welcome. Welcome. Our voices need to be heard. Our voices need to be heard, and we have a voice, and that is why I created my podcast 2 years ago. It's because we have a voice, and there's a lot of pain out there. You know, there are people who are looking for hope. They're scrolling on social media. Someone's watching this live, and you've given people hope in this crazy world that we live in today.
I mean, it's definitely been a challenge. But I'm grateful for you and thankful for your community. Thank you for raising your hand and being here today and showing up. I think that's another way that shows that you're healing. You decided to heal. And when you get good information, you receive it. And now you need to take action.
Exactly.
Decide to take action.
Because when you show up, yes, you do want to heal, but you do want to take massive action. And that's important. Mm-hmm. That is so, so important. So everyone, for those of you who are going to be watching the replay or catching this live, if you want to learn more, please visit covidwellnessclinic.com. Reach out to Maya. Maya is on all social media platforms, and she will be more than happy to help you. So if you have a family member who is struggling with COVID, because I could see like post-COVID, I mean, you've made great strides. You're an amazing woman. And, you know, you have so much support. You have a great support network. And that's what really stood out for me during that whole crisis 2 years ago. Just support was unbelievable, you know? So Maya, in closing, what is the special message that you'd like to share with the viewers today, and also the listeners who will be listening on my podcast on Monday?
Yeah, that is such a great question. And I want to say, first of all, before we wrap up, I do want to say thank you so much for this space, and to thank you and your listeners. It's such an important job that you're doing.
Thank you.
And no one wakes up in the morning and raises their hand and says, beat me today, or abuse me today, or I'm going to get COVID and long COVID today. They wake up and they feel enthusiastic. They feel unstoppable. They wake up with the expectation of today's going to be a great day. Something remarkable is going to happen. It's all a mindset. It's all an attitude. So if you're feeling pain, like I was feeling pain when thousands of people were praying for me and helping me to recover while I was in a coma, I learned this about my heart because I was in a coma and I couldn't see. My heart, not my eyes, gave me vision. And I think that's why I'm here today. It was my heart that gave me vision and not my eyes. So be kind to people. Love them more. Forgive. Just because you forgive doesn't mean that you forget. The forgiveness is for you. It is not for them. It's for you. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Maya. You're welcome. And I'm honored and blessed that you took time from your busy schedule to go live with me and to share your story, your survival story. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. You experienced all of that, but like you said, you're a walking warrior and you turn your pain into your potential. So,
Yeah. Um, yeah, let me, if I don't mind, if you don't mind, I
right.
do have a website called walkingwarrior.org. I'm really shocked that I have walkingwarrior.org because I think warrior is a real huge buzzword in the survival of COVID right now. I know that kids are little tiny miracles from the NICU unit, from when they get cancers, or even just cancer in general. There's so many walking warriors out there. I mean, the .com business has been booming since the early 90s. We're 2022. So I believe that things happen for a reason. And for some reason, the walkingwarrior.org was waiting for me. And so when I heard the words from God saying that how this is happening for you and not to you, I believe that very wholeheartedly. But thank you for sharing that, walkingwarrior.org. We do plan on getting some merch out for our viewers and listeners that say Walking Warrior. You can go right on Walking Warrior to get that, or follow me on any social media link. Click the link and it goes right to the store. We have a book coming out called Walking Warrior. It's one woman's fight for survival from ventilator to victory. And you'll get that all because I'm just building that site right now, Walking Warrior. It is up and running, but yeah, so we're really super pumped about it.
That's great.
I can't believe, yeah, I can't believe that I have Walking Warrior. It's just the weirdest thing.
Walking
So
Warrior.
I think
that name was it just. Yeah, I was going to ask you how you came up with that name. Just
well, through my entire survival, my friends, one of my friends even made me a bracelet that said warrior. And our friend Ronnie McNulty made me an Irish bracelet from Ireland from one of the artisans, and it had wings on it. And I thought, and she wrote this whole story about what a warrior is and what the bracelet meant. And all the little indentations on it were all the angels praying for you. And then on the end was a bracelet that has the angel's wings on it. Very, very amazing. And I realized that gosh, I used to run when I was in high school and go running here or there up at the lake or just down the street. But I was on a ventilator, and then I was on a coma. I was on a ventilator. I had to walk, learn to eat, walk, and talk all over again. And that word walk just kept coming up in my life. And then I thought, well, I'm a walking warrior. Like that is my title of liberty. I'm a walking warrior. And I know that anybody that rises from their pain, they have to walk before they run because it is a marathon, not a sprint. And so that is how it formed for me. And I thought, okay, I went from wheelchair to cane to wheelchair to walker to cane. And I walked the whole time, each little step with all my might. And so I thought that fit me really well, and I can see it fitting many, many other people. And wearing it proudly that they're a walking warrior because it's an end result, right? It's where they started and where they ended. They started walking and now they're a warrior.
exactly.
So yeah, so you put them together and it's and there it is. Boom. Really
Boom,
proud
right.
of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really proud of it.
Well, you're
So
very
it's
proud
been
of
really
yourself.
fun.
I love the name walkingwarrior.org.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe it. I really cannot believe I end up owning that. It's, I would think I would have had to buy it from somebody,
Right.
but I just couldn't believe that I like went and purchased it. You know, being a marketer and having a marketing agency, I have access to being able to purchase domains on the fly. And in fact, that's one of the things I teach my book authors to do, is to buy their domains when they think of it, whether it becomes their domain or not, because the more
Right.
you sit on it, for some reason, Google's watching you. So you sit on it, and the next thing you know, somebody else went and bought that. So
Exactly.
there are other walking warriors out there, but this is what we're talking about, taking action, right? Be the change that you want to see and be. And I took action on purchasing it. So I'm sure I wasn't the first to think of the word or the terms walking warrior. However, I was the first to execute the action.
Exactly. You took action.
So when are you going to execute, right? So for your viewers, when are you going to execute and take action? Right? When are you ready? Are you ready? Are you raising your hand and saying, I'm ready to take action?
There you go.
I do have to say I'm going to say a trigger word right now, and I hope it's okay, because I want people to know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to raise your hand and get help. It's okay to say, today's a shitty day. But that's not my story, and that's not how it's going to end, because you're the author. You get to write the ending to your story. I want to share with you the U.S. National Suicide Prevention Hotline. And it's important for anyone, if they're thinking of this, because I know that many long COVID survivors, domestic abuse, anyone that feels lost or they're just not enough, it's only because you've stopped self-caring and self-loving and filling your cup up. You can change the outcome of your story in the last chapter, and suicide is not the answer. So the number to the U.S. National Prevention Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. 273-8255.
Okay, let me put that up. Okay.
Yeah. So, yep, it's 1-800-273-8255. And then if you are not sure if you want to call, you can also text. Text the word home, HOME, to 741741. Text the word home, HOME, to 741741.
7417.
41.
Got it.
Yep, the same number, just repeat it. 741-741.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you shared that. Okay.
Yeah, you can text the word home to 741-741.
Okay,
So
very good.
again, the U.S. National Suicide Prevention Hotline, because you are not alone, and there are people that can help you through this. So go to 1-800-273-8255. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that they're loved and they're cared for.
Exactly. Exactly. God put us here for a plan and a purpose. So
you're right.
That's it. That is it.
Yep.
So it's up to us to step into our own power and break those chains, because once you break those chains, then abundance starts to flow to you. And that's when you start to really step into your own power. So don't delay. Okay? Don't delay. Do yourself a favor. And don't delay. Don't delay. Look what Maya has accomplished. And there's more. A lot more. A lot more. But
yeah. You know, I feel that I have just etched the stone. There's so much more to life, the potential, and you have greatness inside of you. That is a Les Brown quote.
Oh yeah.
You have potential. You have so much to discover. This world is huge. There are national parks waiting for you to discover them. There are thousands of waterfalls all over the world waiting for you to witness. There are so many people for you to shake hands with.
Exactly.
And acknowledge. There's so many opportunities for you to write your story in a book and get published as an author. There's so many people that once you start sharing your story, they would have wondered where you've been all their life because you've given them hope. Your story is powerful. Share it.
Exactly. Exactly. Your story is very powerful, and you're giving people hope because that's what people are looking for. People are looking for hope, especially on social media now. They are looking for hope. Lord knows I did 12 years ago when I'm still growing, and I still take courses, and I'm always self-developing because that's important for me. That's to keep growing. We were born to grow and not just to sit around the house all day and do nothing and rock.
Yeah, you're doing it.
Thank you. All right, everyone, we're going to end the broadcast. Thank you, Maya, so much for being a special guest on my podcast today. We went live today on Facebook.
Yeah,
this will
you have to.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this podcast, this live today will be uploaded on my podcast.
You have to keep growing. You have to keep moving.
It'll be live on Monday.
You're welcome.
At 7 a.m.
Yes, you have to.
Exactly.
Great.
So let's break the silence. So Maya, please stay in the green room after.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.